Ever since their release, Kitguns have been sitting at the top of the DPS charts when it comes to secondary weapons, and this one is no exception. Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into a secondary weapon based on the Tombfinger chamber. I'm going to be building something cheap, something affordable that anybody can build, but of course we also have the end game setup with a crazy ribbon. That said, please keep in mind that my builds and guides take a new player friendly approach, simply because there's a lot of info here and I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So in case you're a veteran and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, I could not leave without showing you guys this absolutely gorgeous moon. Let's have a quick look at how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And in terms of how would you build your kit gun, how would you build a Tombfinger, take my advice, build Tombfinger together with Haymaker and Splat and or Killstream, depending on your own preference. Honestly, it doesn't really matter that much for damage, it's again preference based. But again, Tombfinger together with Haymaker and Splat and or Killstream. That said, you're looking at a semi-pistol for the most part, and it's projectile based, so you're gonna have to deal with a travel time. The projectile itself will detonate on contact and make this little bitty explosion. Now, it's not just for show, the explosion actually does damage. From what I can tell, the range is about 3 meters, so take a look at this. As you can see, I'm able to hit both of these here corrupted heavy gunners, not by a lot of course because the weapon is not modded. So again, about 2 meters worth of range to the explosion. The damage of the weapon is in two parts. First, the impact of the actual projectile hitting a target, and then the explosion. If you want to know the breakdown of the damage, it's about 50-50 overall, but all the physical types are in the impact. Again, the projectile hitting the target, and the explosion itself only does radiation damage. As you can see, the weapon does have a bit of a recoil on it, and the rate of fire this is maximum. A bit sluggish, but nothing that Lethal Torrent cannot fix. So let's jump into stats to have a better look at what exactly we're dealing with. Yes, it's all gilded and all whatnot, so maximum stats. My weapon has been formatted a total of 4 times, but for the weapon build I'm recommending you guys 2 formats should be more than enough. I over format things because I want to test this and that, and usually I also test various ribbons. That said, keep in mind that when you gild the weapon you're going to be able to choose a polarity. My recommendation would be to go for V or moderize. Simply add 2 V symbols to the weapon and you should be all good. Accuracy is 50, yes, this is a supremely accurate weapon, but then again it's projectile based, so leading your targets is a thing on weapons such as this. Critical chance is high, 38% thanks to the Tombfinger, Haymaker and Splat combination. Critical multiplier also high at 2.3x, but the fire rate is a tad low at 2.17 with a magazine of 23 and a reload of 1.7. If you want a smaller clip but faster reload, go for Killstream instead of Splat. Riven disposition 3 out of 5. Now this is the default Riven disposition the developer awards any brand new weapon. In our case, the Tombfinger chamber. Status chance a bit low at 16%. Trigger semi, and we got impact, puncture and radiation on the weapon. We have a default elemental combo on the weapon. You should treat this radiation as a very last mod, something like over here. So if you were just to add heat to the weapon, you will see it will not get combined into the radiation. You need to remake the elemental combo within the weapon. I want to go back to the damage breakdown of the projectile itself. The impact and the puncture, both of them 100% go to the projectile hitting the target, and 20% of the radiation, and the rest of the 80% of the radiation is allocated to the explosion. It's a rough 50-50 for the most part. So again, the explosion won't do all of the damage or anything like that. So shoot for the feet does not apply in this case. In any case, let's start building this weapon. I already have a standard build laid out for you guys, and of course we got Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot together with Lethal Torrent, which also fixes the sluggishness of the weapon to a certain degree, critical chance and critical damage with Point Strike, Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker. If you have the Prime versions, Prime Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker, go straight for them, but not everybody has them, so initially we're going to be testing with normal mods. Elemental damage, now this one should be applied depending on circumstance. Where are you going and who are you fighting? For example, if you're up against the infested, AoE weapons heavily modded into heat will do fantastically well. If you're up against the Corpus faction or Valis and all whatnot, their gas or toxin will bypass their shields entirely and deal damage to their health. When you're talking about armor, there are largely two armor types. Alloy, which is weak to radiation damage, takes 75% more damage from radiation, and there is also ferrite armor, which takes 75% more damage from corrosive. Against heavily armored targets, corrosive usually, not all the time, has the advantage because on a status proc it will be reducing that armor, so therefore your subsequent shots will be dealing more and more damage. Against Grenier, which are usually the heavily armored targets, your best bet is to build corrosive, which is the elemental combo between electricity and toxin. Now there is a bit of a chat to have, should I go for the 90s or should I go for the 60 mods? It really depends on the level of content. If you're doing your regular average everyday missions, levels 50, 60, 70s, then I would go for the 90 mods. If you're going level 100 plus, then the 60 mods make a bigger difference. So there you go. If you don't have Jolt, because this one is a bit of a pain, only brought by Barokitier the Void Trader every couple of months, and from the trade chat you're looking at about 80 to 100 plat on PC currently, so it is a bit expensive. Don't have it, don't want to spend the plat for it, then forget about it and simply use Convulsion instead. But if you do have it, 100% go for it. As for the last slot on the weapon, this is what I like to call an option slot. It's more important from my point of view to cater the weapon to your own individual playstyle. What do you prefer in a weapon? Perhaps you want a faster reload, perhaps you want a bigger magazine, and so on and so forth. But I will outline a couple of good options. Seeker 2.1 meters worth of punch through. But how does it function with a projectile? Unfortunately, it doesn't generate additional explosions. Adding punch through to the weapon is actually counterproductive because the projectile will be going through your first target, hitting the first one, hitting the second one, applying only the physical types and 20% of the radiation, and detonating outside of them. Again, it does not generate explosion with each punch through. So bear that one in mind. I wouldn't necessarily recommend punch through on this one. Other than that, you can go for something like Magnum Force because it recently got buffed and it's now not completely garbage, but unfortunately with Magnum Force on the weapon, that minus 55% accuracy causes the multi-shot projectiles resulting from Barrel Diffusion and Lethal Torrent to go completely off the crosshairs. For close range shots, it's still good enough, but from my point of view, you shouldn't really go for this one. Not on the Tombfinger, at least. What I'm going to be recommending to you guys is more crit. As you can see, my critical chance is 83.6, pretty high with Pistol Gambit alone. If you were to go for Hydraulic Crosshairs, this is not an event-only mod, even though the Acolytes are in town right now. You can also farm it from Loa Spy missions, it's pretty easy. From the trade chat, you're looking at about, I don't know, 5-10 plat. Again, it's super cheap. With that additional 135% critical chance, you're going way over 100% critical chance. That means that each and every shot will be a yellow crit, and you're also going to be having a decent chance at an orange crit. If you want to learn exactly how critical chance and critical multipliers apply and work in Warframe, link in the cards right now. And this is the initial build we're going to be testing, and this is what I'm recommending to you guys. If you don't have Jolt, once again, drop it and use Convulsion. The difference will be minute for the most part. 70.3% status chance, 83.6 without Hydraulic Crosshairs. With Hydraulic Crosshairs, we're going to about 120% critical chance, something like that, and 3.7x critical multiplier. Now let's see if the weapon performs or not. I'm going to be respawning the same targets. It doesn't make a big difference, but let's go. And don't worry about Saren's passive. It doesn't do much in this case. Take a look. Now that is definitely impressive. The weapon is absolutely amazing. Honestly, it's capable of shredding high-level targets without even using prime mods, and it doesn't need a Riven to be a competitive weapon. And you know what? It's pretty easy to get the weapon as well. There are multiple ways of farming standing with Solaris United now. It's not all that hard, so as you can see, the weapon can 100% destroy high-level targets. And it's pretty, well, I guess the negative would be the fact that it's projectile based, and not everybody will enjoy that. But just 4 or 5 shots and a level 120 corrupted heavy gunner hits the ground, and from my point of view, that is definitely impressive. It packs a greater punch than the Catch Moon, but the Catch Moon is AoE based. This is gonna do a whole lot more when it comes to single target damage. Again, the explosion and the impact about 50% split in terms of the damage. Now that is definitely impressive, but of course we got prime mods, we got the option of going for Rivens and all whatnot, so why don't we do so? So prime target cracker, prime pistol gambit, and get ready for this one. Tombfinger Krita Sati at 110% multi-shot, 146% critical chance, 191% damage, and minus 72.7 projectile flight speed. Yes, my heart ached hard when I saw this one, but it's not really all that bad. As I will show you guys, the weapon is still more than usable, and of course pack seeker are free. This is the best arcane from my point of view that you can have on the weapon. Keep in mind that the projectiles resulting from this one are 50% puncture and 50% slash, so it's actually capable of applying slash to your targets, and the critical chance is picked up from your modded weapon values. So you're gonna see basically the projectiles from Pack Seeker are able to one-shot high-level targets. It's truly amazing, and it's not that expensive now. You're looking at about 7 to 8 plat the R0s, and you're gonna need 10 for the R3. So what is that? 80 plat? Come on, maybe 100 plat. You need this one. It is absolutely fantastic. One more time, the same targets as before. How many shots do you guys think it's gonna take? 1, 2, 3. Take a look at the damage that Pack Seeker did there. Absolutely freaking phenomenal. The weapon is a monster, is an absolute beast, and I highly recommend it. I mean, there's not a lot wrong with the weapon outside of the fact that it's projectile based and it's semi, so your finger might hurt, but you can also use a rapid fire macro. Yes, it's okay on PC, link in the cards right now. As you can see, this is a fantastic weapon, and I cannot sing its praises enough. If you don't have the Tombfinger yet, go for it. Rivens, yes. Rivens are a bit expensive right now for the Tombfinger. You're looking at about 100, 150 plat, a crap one, okay? You can head on over to Kuva and roll it for yourself. If you're looking for stat priority, from my point of view, I would go for critical damage above critical chance in this case, because again, you can get over 100% critical chance without any Riven. Then prioritize multi-shot. So again, critical chance, critical damage, multi-shot, and a harmless negative. Minus projectile flight speed, as you can see, is not exactly harmless, but is not terrible either. That said, we're also going to be bumping everything up with Warframe Buffs, but I forgot to mention something regarding the projectile itself. It has different instances of proccing crit or proccing status. Okay, it's basically two sources of damage. So your main projectile might crit on contact, but the explosion might not crit on detonation in case you don't have a 100% critical chance. So basically per shot, if you are hitting a target, you get two instances of the possibility of critical chance and the possibility of applying a status effect to the target. Damn, that sounded confusing like all hell, but that's what I got, guys, sorry. In any case, let's go for some Warframe buffs, and for that we're going to be using Lady Mirage Prime, because I want to. Now let's check out some buffs. What you can use for an aura is Pistol Lamp, which will grant you 27% extra damage to pistols, but the weapon honestly doesn't need it, and 27% isn't that big of a deal. But it is an aura, so everybody in your party will be receiving this benefit, and it is stackable ×4. And you can also use Coaction Drift to get a bit more than 27%. Against Grenier, the smartest idea will be Corrosive Projection, but Pistol Lamp will grant its benefit regardless of the target. When it comes to arcanes, my recommendation for you guys is Arcane Precision above everything else. Just a lot more damage, 120% damage for pistols for 8 seconds. This one is farmable from the third Eidolon down on Cetus, and you can double stack it, even though the UI doesn't really support double stacking. As in, it doesn't show you the separate instances of them proccing, but you will see the damage increase do apply from 2. A more cheaper option would be Awakening. 100% damage to pistols. This is a 40% chance on reload. This one is farmable from the second Eidolon down on Cetus, and it's pretty cheap. I think an R3 goes for about 20 plat, something like that. Now, if you're gonna go for Arcane Awakening stacking, then I would recommend you drop Splat and go for Killstream instead, because smaller magazine, faster reload, you get how that one works. Now let's test the weapon out like this to see exactly how much damage we can pork out. And we're also gonna be unpausing them for kicks and lulls. Activate Mirage's free ability for a massive damage increase as well as her clones. How many shots do you guys think it's gonna take? Of course it's a one shot. I need 2 to 3 shots to completely annihilate all of them. Did you see those damage numbers? Pause it. No, wait, I'm gonna shoot him again. Honestly, it is freaking fabulous, amazing. This weapon can absolutely tear through everything. Take a look. Holy, I gotta pause and look at that number one more time, that orange number from the Seeker proc there. It's just outstanding. I'm not going rapid fire because I don't need to go rapid fire. It's much more advantageous in this case to make sure I land that headshot, especially considering this is a critical weapon. But of course, if you get bored or just don't have the patience, you can always go rapid fire and completely annihilate everything that stands before you. And my friends, I believe that's pretty much it for the Tombfinger review. This is an outstanding weapon and everybody should get it, at least from my point of view. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you have any feedback for me, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. Also, in the comment section down below, if you want to suggest any weapon reviews. Now, I can't exactly promise you that they will be done by next time or even within a week, but I will be reading for each and every comment. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.